Naceta. And then he started.
Okay, we're good.
He started right here in KXEX with TG and all those.
Good. Kicked in.
Cole said, hey,
Hey, it's time, everybody. May I direct your mind and ears
to the center of the ring.
al centro of the octagon, if you will.
Or maybe within the confines of the cage.
Remember, peeps, every fighter has a voice, and so do you on AM 1680. The Voice. The Voice. The Voice. The Voice.
With your fight-talking host,
Richard Ortiz.
Don't hit me, Rich. Don't hit me.
Just break me down with some of that fight talk. The Fighter's Voice. Right here, every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And again on Sundays from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And remember, every fighter has a voice. And so do you. So let's get ready to you know what. Right here on The Fighter's Voice.
and we're live here in Fresno, California, live stream, the Fighter's Voice radio show live stream team. How does that sound, Cole? It has like a little ring to it.
Does.
Live
It's got
stream team.
The
Team.
stream team, I like it.
Team. The dream team or stream team?
The stream team.
The stream team is in the house.
stream
But talking
team.
about the house, we got to get the house paid for. So knock out these bills and let's introduce our guest and let's get going because I know he's falling asleep. I hear him snoring right
Man,
now.
I can. So we're going to throw liver punches and head kicks, man. So remember, as always, Serrano's Furniture, they've been doing it since '86. They've got 9 locations in the Valley to serve you from top to bottom. They've got Bakersfield, Hanford, Delano, Dinuba, Fresno, Madera, Tulare, Visalia, Porterville. I mean, you name a spot you need furniture from. I should have gone there and got a couch. I was just driving by there the other
You
day.
should have.
Man, I should
Yes,
have.
you should have.
But they've got 9 locations, so anywhere in the
9.
valley you need it, they got deals
9.
going on all the time. Family-friendly pricing is how they want to do it, kind of thing. And then also, if you want to get a workout in, lift some bells, punch some bags, hit some treadmill, Main Events Gym, Fresno here, give them an opportunity as well, guys.
And that's owned by Big Al Perez.
Big Al.
Jr. in the house. You know what? This evening's show is being streamed live on my Facebook page, Richard Ortiz, by the Fighter's Voice live stream team, with highlights on my Instagram page at the Fighter's Voice. Please share it, like it, and leave a comment for the Fighter's Voice live stream team. Tonight's show is being engineered by the one and only. They call him Big Papa because he just had a baby, Mr. Jose. And cage side, we have the one, the only, the co-host, the UFC veteran who wrote a book. And let me clarify that, ladies and gentlemen. He was not booked. He wrote a book. The Apache Kid, Mr. Cole Escovedo, who'll be knocking you out the entire show. Cole Escovedo Fashion, and that's the way it's called because then we got his beatdown coming in. He has the one when you introduce him, you're going to know something's getting sold. There's going to be some form of entertainment because that's exactly what he does. It's in his bloodstream. I can go on, but you know what, Jose? Now back to cage side. Ladies and gentlemen, for your main event of the evening, fighting out of the red corner, the undisputed promoter of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Christian Printup.
Well,
One take.
Christian, welcome to the show, my man.
hey, what's going on, Rich? Cole, how are you, champ?
What's up, amigo? It's so awesome to have you on the show, dude. Like, it's super awesome.
Thank you, man. I'm excited. When Rich asked me, I, jumped at the opportunity to be able to talk to you guys. Guys that I've considered friends for a long time, and it's always fun to talk. Talk about the history and MMA and boxing and everything. So we're really excited. Thank you.
You know what? First of all, thank you for dealing with us with this crazy schedule we got going right now. But when I was going through all this, and the show's about you, I'm not going to touch too much about me. Cole said, Richard, don't worry. Christian is a true professional. He got this. He's actually, let's leave him hanging on just a little longer because he's at his best when he's up against the ropes.
Blink for just a minute.
Yeah, he goes, let's leave him hanging. And he don't understand the difference in time right now. What time is it right now where you're at?
It is 11:34.
Wow.
Like a 3-hour window, man.
Man, but now, hey, we got a lot to go over. First of all, what's going on in your parts of the world, Christian?
So I'm here back home in Western New York. I got here in 2016. I took over as the Senior Executive Director of Entertainment and Special Events for the Seneca Gaming Corporation, which is an entity owned and operated by the Seneca Nation of Indians. We have 3 casinos here in Western New York, Niagara Falls, we have Seneca Niagara, we have a property in downtown Buffalo called Seneca Buffalo Creek Casino, and then we have down towards the New York-Pennsylvania border in Salamanca, New York, we have Seneca Allegheny Resort and Casino. 3 casinos, 3 distinct, flavors, I guess you could say, for everyone, whatever you want. True resort experience, 4 diamond hotels.
Wow.
600 hotel rooms in Niagara, 400 Allegheny. Buffalo Creek doesn't have a hotel at this time, but it has world-class gaming and food and amazing restaurants. And
not even his main facility, and he knows like all the intricacies of all the other locations. Like, it's not even mine, but I know they got this and this and this.
See, and that's just the way he is. I don't mean to cut you off, but you always seem to stay ahead of the game. And I can guarantee, before I called you, before I made a contact, you either got off the phone working on a new deal, or you just closed the deal. That's just you, right? Before you got this phone call, you either closed the deal or you're looking into 3 months in advance to 3 years in advance, because that's just the way you roll. Is that safe to say?
Well, can I be honest with you, Rich?
Absolutely.
So the first thing I did was I ate some chocolate pudding that I had in the fridge that I've been waiting and just kind of eyeballing for a while. So I downed that bad boy, and then honestly, you know what I did, man, was I opened up the laptop because I've been at this for a while. The casino business, entertainment, concerts, fights. I'm going on 19 years now, basically.
At least 10 that I can remember.
And yeah, and I was like just looking through the history of the WEC and our boxing shows in Lemoore, and just going back and looking at all the talent that rolled through Lemoore over the years.
Andre Ward
in both sports. Oh man, Andre Ward, Robert Guerrero, Julio Diaz, Montel Griffin kicked it off for us, and
Tim Witherspoon,
2001, and then we did Tim Witherspoon, yeah, of course, and of course, Manuel Casada, who I'm extremely proud of, and then our women, man, that really some of the greatest female boxers of all time spent the majority of their career right there beating people up in Lemoore. Karina Moreno, Jessica Riccozzi, of course, Jen Alcorn. So she really was
yes, that's right, Jennifer Alcorn. Alcorn, yes, I remember. Part of the whole Butterbeam rush there, too. And you actually introduced Chuck Liddell to this parts of the world during a boxing match of Tim Witherspoon. It was a Tim Witherspoon boxing match, and Chuck Liddell was introduced to this parts of the world with jeans, white T-shirt, and his mohawk. Back then.
Yeah, Chuck, being a slow guy, and a lot of connections to Fresno, and he was good friends with Reed Harris and Scott Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, him and Scott were partners in slow kickboxing, and so it was great to be. It was great to know Chuck back in those days in the early 2000s when the UFC was just kind of really just developing traction, and it was fun, man, to go out to Vegas and watch his fights and be able to hang out with him a little bit. It was cool. Cole knows what's up.
Oh yeah, that was it was right around the time Scott and Reed were really like cultivating what they envisioned as MMA, Red Central Valley,
right.
And they saw sport and they saw a future and stuff, and so they had guys like Chuck come out because he had guys on the card because he had teammates on the card, so they'd bring him out, let him look at it. Mostly I think they brought him out because he was a friend and they saw an opportunity to introduce somebody that had higher up connections through his management as well as other things that said, hey, come look at what we're doing. We're doing something. It's going to be something. So,
bro, when he came to Lemoore, he wasn't even giving out cards. He was giving out flyers. This was back in the day. He was giving out flyers. Because I was working for the Liberty Tribune, and he
put them on the chairs.
He was giving out flyers.
Yeah.
Remember that? Let's talk about those days, and we're going to touch about it here in this first segment, but we're going to go throughout the whole show. Let's talk about what I like to call the good old days.
I don't know if Cole was there. The first time I ever saw Chuck fight was at Table Mountain.
You know what?
TV.
Yeah, I don't think I made that show, but I know which one you're talking about. It was like the first one Table did. They only did like two or three shows, I think, total. But I've actually seen pictures of that one.
It was like an IFC show.
Mm-hmm. It was like a Paul Smith or something show like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who's another guy that's I don't think ever really got a lot of the credit he deserved because he was doing shows.
Yeah, Paul Smith was one of the way back guys. Like, he was the guy out there, like, selling tickets at the gym. Like, how many tickets do you need? I'll bring them up for 5. You need 5? I'll bring 5. Like, he'd make a drive just to bring you 5 tickets at the gym because you had 5 people that were going to buy them. And he was just, it wasn't a hustle. He just had such a belief in what he was doing on his end, too. And they kind of just started to collaborate, and they saw how much more they could do. They weren't, back then, they were of the same minds of, we can do more together than button heads. And we both build these organizations up. We'll cultivate so many fighters and have so much product, and then we can kind of, and go big. So that was always kind of like, I think, the long-term goal with those guys. So Paul Smith was up there just as much as Scott and Reed,
You know, Chris, I got to ask you, because when your name gets brought up in this parts of the area, Fresno, Lemoore, etc., I mean, they can't help but, they don't even answer right away. They'll stop and they'll kind of sigh. They'll go, yeah, that dude paved the way. I mean, I'm talking about the top promoters to the ones that are beginning, to anybody involved in combat sports. How does that make you feel, knowing that your name is forever attached to combat sports here in the Valley?
Man, it was a fun time. Definitely, feel a lot of sense of accomplishment with what we were able to do there as a team at the Apache Palace, or with the Palace Indian Gaming Center. Actually, when we first got going, it was before the name change, and I'm just really proud. I'm happy to be I was a part of it and able to help captain the ship. Without question. I've said this over and over, and I'll say it until they put me 6 feet under. But the entire sport of MMA, especially, definitely owes a debt of gratitude to the Santa Rosa Rancheria and the Tachioka tribe for all they invested into building mixed martial arts, and they funded the WEC.
They were a huge
put up
investor.
everything to do the show.
They took a big risk back then. They took a huge gamble.
Yeah, and so it was just a special time for the sport. I mean, back in those days, that was before, like Chuck, we talk about Chuck. Chuck was actually scheduled to fight in WEC 1 back in June of 2001.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Cole took care of Terry Dull.
Yeah, that was
his name.
That was that.
Yeah.
It was Terry Dullback. That was our first fight. Yeah, he was supposed to be on that card, actually.
You took care of him,
yeah,
Cole?
we had the posters printed and everything, man.
Yep.
And he was coming off, I think, the Randleman fight in Japan for the UFC.
Mm-hmm. And then he got a call or something, didn't he?
You get like a cease and desist letter, and that was before the UFC really started to
locking down their
contracts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they told him, hey, you can't go fight, dude. We wanna use you.
Yeah. So I wish I had those. I wish I had one of those posters. I don't know. I'm sure Scott has some.
I'm sure he's got it rolled up in a closet somewhere and doesn't even know he has it anymore.
Cole, you got to break them up, because I know you got some stuff in the garage. You got to send it out to Canada right now.
Oh, I do.
You know what? And 20 seconds, you know what? Cole, tell us what exactly you got in your garage before we take this commercial break and come back with the legend.
Man, I wish I had a garage. I live in an apartment. In my apartment, I've got trophies, awards from Japan, backstage passes from Japan, posters from fights, shirts. I mean, anything that I've kept on. Actually, most of my belts are gone. I've actually donated those to charities to get auctioned off and stuff.
That's because you're a giving guy. And Christian, when we come back from commercial, he needs to be a giving guy, because I got a bone to pick with him when we come back. Rich Ortiz here with the Fighter's Voice, AM 1680, the Fighter's Voice.
You are listening to The Fighter's Voice on AM 1680.
Right now, we gotta take a break.
Pay some bills. So be ready for some head banging, lip smacking, heart attacking, fight talk. Because every fighter has a voice.
Those of you guys that are watching and viewing, we had a little late start, but we're dealing with some different time frames and what have you. I'll blame it on the time frame. But we're back here. We're in your face. Ask away. Submit your questions, and we'll give you the answers. So we're ready to rock and roll, my man.
Don't hit me, Rich. Don't hit me.
Just break me down with some of that fight talk. The fighter's voice. Right here. And remember, every fighter has a voice. And so do you. So let's get ready to you know what. Right here on The Fighter's Voice.
And we're back live streaming here, The Fighter's Voice radio show. Welcome back. This is part 2, and part 2 is simply called Yesterday. We're going to relive the times of yesterday with our guests. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just tuned in, we have with us on the line the man, the myth, the legend, Christian Printup, who continues to reinvent himself over and over again, taking on new challenges and knocking out the competition. Christian, I got a challenge for you. A big challenge for you, my man.
Okay.
I want you to dig down deep. I want to know, what's it going to take for you to finally send me some of that Canadian candy, my man? I've been waiting for 2 years,
man.
2 Christmases ago. I
Dude,
thought I was going to get me
he
some.
was busted on you about
Yes,
this like
yes.
last
No.
week.
He goes, Rich, I got you some Coffee Crisp, some Mr. Big, some Crispy Crunch, some Eat More, some Crunchy. Those are all Canadian candies, so you know exactly what I'm talking about, right, my man?
Yeah.
And when you said, Rich,
I
you
can't
said,
even front, man. I dropped the ball on that, Rich. I'm going to make good on that.
and
You're gonna get like the biggest
Hey,
box.
but you
of,
notice,
like,
but you
candy,
notice how
bro.
he threw the first jab of the show, Rich. Before he goes, I gotta be honest with you, so I know he's going somewhere. I just ate some chocolate, my man. I killed it. It was calling me. So he threw the first punch. Kind of hit me with a little blow on that one. He had to throw it in. I had some chocolate. So I just said, okay, all right.
Yeah,
The
wait,
guest
gotta
just
get
goes
you
for
some
it.
of that New York chocolate and candy.
Man.
You're gonna get like a big old box, dude. He's just gonna be like, "You happy?" now?"
No, well, let me tell you the story. I posted it. I went to Canada, got this candy. Boom, I posted it. He inboxes me, and then he says, Rich, that ain't blank. I'll tell you what time it is. I got the real candy, homie. You know what? I'll send you some. What's your address? Man, I was like a kid in a candy store waiting every time there was a package. Is that mine? Is that mine? Did the
That's
doorbell
like-
ring?
That'd be like seeing you eating a piece of pizza,
Oh,
going,
my
"Dude,
gosh.
that pizza's nothing. I got the real West New York pizza." That'd be like him talking up this pizza joint on like West 76 or something.
Exactly.
And then when he sends you a slice, like overnight aired, hot in a box, you're just like,
Boom.
"This is delicious."
But Cole, this is 2 years in the making. We're going on year 3. And now I got the man on the
I know.
line
This
right
better
here.
be some really good
Oh,
candy,
my
Chris.
gosh.
Like this better be some
You know what they do?
really good candy.
In Canada, like the Coffee Crisp and the Wonder Bars, the Arrows, like they make some chocolate bars that you can get them in the States, like around the border, these border states, but they're special, man. They're just,
I feel like we're gonna
They're
get
really
like
good.
caught like having like Canadian smuggled candy. Be like,
Yeah.
what you got there, eh?
Yeah.
Chocolate in a big lay. Yay, let me take.
No, actually, they
That's
talk-
Canadian,
It's
eh?
like this. That's what it's all about, eh?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Hey, you got some Canadian. You got some syrup in your bag too, there, huh, Boozer?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I imagine this is gonna be like the best candy Richard's ever tasted. He's gonna taste it and be like, "Dude, Cole, this you have to taste it," and then he's just gonna talk it up for like months about how he was so wrong and he never tasted candy so good. It's gonna be awesome.
Man, I threw some names at him too. But what I do want you to taste on a serious note is let's taste the years of yesterday. Those years of yesterday, they made Christian Printup. They made you challenge yourself because every time you accomplish something, you raise the bar in your career and you continue to reinvent yourself. But I got to ask you, since we talked about Lemoore and we talked about those early days, what happened yesterday that today is still with you today? If you understand what I'm saying, I don't want to make it sound too difficult. What happened back then that you still have with you today? What did you learn? What memory was there?
well, I think overall is that you can't be complacent, man. Like no matter what you're trying to accomplish, no matter what it is, if it's promoting, a fight or a concert, or you're building a house or whatever you're doing, just you can always improve. There's always a facet of your game that you can get better at. There's that, and there's also, don't be afraid to hire people that are smarter than you and more talented than you. Don't try. I've never tried to be the person that was, worried about being upstaged by someone, because you're only as good as your team. So I was lucky in Lemoore to be able to put together a great team of hardworking people, event professionals, that made it happen day in and day out, event by event. They made everything look really, really good. So I think those are the two things that I've taken throughout my career, after Lemoore into Bellator, and now here with the Seneca Gaming Corporation for my second stint in the as a casino entertainment director. And now it's even a little different because in Lemoore I just had one casino. Here I oversee 3.
See, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to say, are you just responsible for one? But to be you're responsible for all of them. So you're not just one casino's entertainment manager and department head. You're in charge of entertainment concerns for all 3 resort locations.
Yeah. I work for the
lot.
corporation that oversees the management of all 3 casinos. So
That's a lot, man.
Hey,
Think about that for a second.
wait. Don't
Think
start
about
feeling
that,
bad
man.
for himself. I know he gets 3 different checks. You know what I mean?
But just to
Crazy,
know,
man,
I
no.
mean, because all I can picture is Christian in the white button-up collared polo shirt with the khaki pants with the promoter's necklace lanyard next to like Julio Cesar Chavez and like Mayweather and all these big names. That
Don't forget the headset, the Bellator
yeah,
headset.
the headset.
Mayweather.
So to have him ringside with that, so to see him from the Palace then,
Yeah.
and to see the kind of energy he had there and what he could get on with just one location at his disposal, at his use, to go to what he is now, it's insane.
Cole, Christian had the look on his face when he was doing this and that, like, I'm actually getting paid for this? Having fun?
Right? Yeah, back then he's paid to party, but he hustled, man.
That's right.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, working in, live events is crazy. It's organic. Nothing ever really goes as planned. You're not really. I always tell people, like, you're not compensated to execute what you expected to happen. You're really paid to be able to deal with things that you didn't expect.
Yeah, you're paid to be able to
and
pull
a lot
it
of
off.
times,
Yeah, that's what you're getting paid for,
a lot of times they're really heavy, they're big issues, man, that have huge financial implications, and you have to make very swift, decisive decisions with conviction. And so I'm lucky. I mean, to be at it this long, I'm able to draw on experiences, and you see parallels in certain situations that allow me to find comfort and come into a decision that I believe to be the best decision possible pretty quickly. And we do between the 2 casinos where I have majority of our paid venues, we have about 125 ticketed shows a year. And then when you mix in our lounges, our free stages, and DJs and bands that play every weekend, there's about 500 performances each year between the 3 casinos. So there's literally always something going on.
Parts. Yeah, a lot of moving parts.
Yeah,
Man, that's some Ocean's 11 stuff, Andy Garcia stuff right there, my man. I mean, you just oversee a lot of responsibility, and you're grasping it, you're embracing it, and you wouldn't have it any other way.
I like it. I thrive off it. Like, it's funny. It's the type of career where you have to have thick skin. You have to be able to deal with adversity and stress. There's a lot of stress every day.
Well, casinos are a living entity. They're always,
what's that?
Casinos are a living entity. They're always moving. Stuff happens. Power goes out.
Yeah.
Water floods. A bathroom closes. A restaurant closes.
Yeah.
There's a gas leak. There's all kinds. Some prima donna doesn't like the hotel room color on the paint wall. You got to move her to another floor. You got to really think on the fly. And it's like guys like Christian that thrive on that type of adversity, that challenge. It releases like an endorphin in their brain. That when that light comes on and they figure out how to solve the problem, it's like the faster they can do it, the bigger the rush, like the bigger the release in their head. So
I think he's disappointed that there wasn't a challenge today at work.
I know, right?
If it was an easy day at work, it's like, oh, it was okay. I think he likes to be challenged because he likes to see, like, I hope this doesn't show up or this, so we can see what I can do. Let me fix it.
Yeah, like how
Let
am
me
I gonna get
MacGyver this thing right now.
Yeah, let me MacGyver this. What can we do today?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, today was a rare day where I wasn't in the office. I was kind of working, but I'm getting older, man. I'm almost 45 now. My right knee is definitely not what it used to be. So I had my first gel injection. You flex the gel injection because the cartilage is completely
it's like a
gone
it's like
on
a
one
cartilage
side.
replacement. It melts away though, right?
What's that?
It melts away though, right? Like dissolves over time.
I think they say you should do it every 6 months or once a year, at least. But I'm looking forward to getting a little bit of comfort because. When you walk, and Cole, I mean, you've been, you've fought at the highest levels and been in some wars, man. So
any comfort
you know what
can
it's like to have to walk down the stairs sideways.
Oh yeah,
shit.
I do that now when I get off the couch.
Yeah.
Oh, man, talking
Yeah,
about sideways, man. You should have seen Cole in the parking lot today. When I was rolling up right there, he threw a biscuit at me for no reason, and he didn't even share it with. Hey, we're going to be coming right back here with the one, the only Christian Printup here in the Fighter's Voice radio show, AM 1680.
You are listening to The Fighter's Voice on AM 1680.
Right now, we gotta take a break. You know.
Pay some bills. So be ready for some head banging, lip smacking, heart attacking, fight talk. Because every fighter has a voice.
Who ready, Mr. Jose?
Don't hit me, Rich. Don't hit me.
Just break me down with some of that fight talk. The Fighter's Voice. Right here. And remember, every fighter has a voice. And so do you. So let's get ready to you know what. Right here on The Fighter's Voice.
And we're back live here in Fresno, California. The Fighter's Voice live stream team is on fire and knocking out the competition, just like our guest, Mr. Christian Printup. This is part 3, and it's called The World of MMA. Christian, this is the part of the show where we discuss what's going on in the world of MMA, and it's called Cole Escobedo's Beatdown. Knock it out, Cole.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, well, we'll keep this one really simple. Like I said, like we were talking earlier, there's not a whole lot going on in MMA right now as far as like upcoming shows, things like that. Locally, you've got Tachi Palace Fights. They're doing their Prospects 2 card, which is kind of like a card that you go to fight on to get noticed for a pro fight.
A mega amateur show.
Basically, yeah.
Yes.
You're basically taking some of the top MMA amateur fighters in the state and abroad. Then Richard brings them in and says, who wants to go pro? Show me.
And a quick plug, Richard Goodman will be on the show next week.
Exactly. He'll be here next week plugging that, but I figure I'd plug it this week. That
There you
show is
go.
actually going to be on August 31st, so it's going to be at the end of this month. It'll be out at the Palace. Prospects number 2. I don't want to ruin the fight card and tell you who's on it. You're going to look it up.
I got to tell you one name. Jose, can I go there? Jose
You wanna-
Navarro's in the main event.
Okay, so
I will say-
Navarro's
I'll leave
in the
it
main event.
there. I'll
Okay,
leave it
so
there.
we can throw Jose's name
Yes,
out
yes.
there. You want to know the rest? Do him a favor. Go visit the
There you
website.
go.
Check it out. Give him some foot traffic,
go.
guys. And then there's Bellator this Friday in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. None of the names really stuck out. It seems like a contenders type card where everybody's just kind of trying to move themselves up the ladder. So there was no real big main name events. There's no titles on fight kind of thing like that. So, but what I wanted to do, Christian, with some of this time that we got real quick was if you had to look at the landscape of promoting not just mixed martial arts or boxing, just promoting entertainment as a whole, what is the one tool that you have at your disposal now that you would have loved to have, say, 15 years ago?
Well, that's a great question, Cole.
A really big budget.
Okay, perfect, yeah.
You know,
Budget.
because at the end of
So-
the day, you need money to get big shows done.
So you're restrictive, you're creative, restrictive, and your ability to make an entertainment valued show is only restricted really by the budget in which you're given.
To a large degree. I mean, you know, like last year I brought Kiss here. We did a big outdoor concert with Kiss in Niagara Falls, 6,000 people. And, you know, Kiss requires a certain amount of money to get them here. If you don't have that budget, I mean, you can't get the talent. We were talking about music. We were talking about, you know, MMA or boxing. I think that I think the ability to the ability to discover talent, not just talent, not someone that's just good at fighting, but someone that's going to be able to.
They have value. They have marketability.
They're going to be able to drive
brandability.
people, put people in seats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
They
so
equal dollar signs.
exciting
They have
styles
value.
and people that will talk and people that will just have that swagger. Like you had that. You know what I mean? Like people
Of course,
wanted
baby.
to
That's
fight, whether they wanted
why I
to
was
see
the
you win or
close
whether they
friend.
wanted to get beat. Like they wanted to see you. You know what I mean?
And that's
so I
that
think
was
fighters
just,
need to.
they got to do that.
Fighters need to know that. Like over the years, there's been, you know, Antonio McKee's a great guy, and I consider him a friend, and he was an amazing, you know, athlete and
Super
wrestler.
athletic.
But he never really got the credit he deserved or the opportunities at the big stage because his fighting style wasn't really exciting.
Yeah,
you know, there's other guys
did
like
the
that, you know?
win strategy. There's a lot of local guys that we knew back in the day for the palace shows and stuff like that. Were just colossal fighters, great fighters, but just weren't. They didn't talk. They didn't brand. They didn't market. They didn't do really good in interviews. And they weren't. They won, but they weren't super exciting when they won. So it was a real hard sell for them. And you'd see talent just kind of like, dude, that guy's really good, but he's not going to be.
Just gonna
No
market
one's going to
himself.
know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so budget and the ability to have a fighter that can sell themselves would be a tool. I imagine there wasn't a lot of those back then. There is now. Everybody wants to be the next Conor McGregor now.
Man, don't take my content.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
mean,
that's good.
You see it. You see a lot of, a lot of guys trying to emulate what Conor's done, and
Well, yeah,
he's such a unique guy.
He's let
But
the
at
cat
end
out of
the
the
day,
bag.
it's
Is what
about-
he did.
And I think what Conor's done is pulled from other people in the past, and pulled from maybe guys like Nassim Hamed and some guys from like even pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did you just take it back, Prince Nassim Hamed?
Absolutely, man.
See, this is a legend right here. He knows what he's talking about. A lot of people don't know who he is. No, he opened the gate, and he had ridiculous power, trained by the late Emmanuel Stewart.
He used to jump in the ring, didn't he?
Yes, he
That
did.
was his
He was a
entrance.
showman.
Was a
Yes, he
jumping,
did.
Yeah.
You said it exactly. Showman. Yep.
100%
Yeah.
showman, and he backed it up.
Yeah.
That was yeah. Well, yeah. So yeah, that's it for what we're gonna cover in MMA. I just really want to know because I know there's always tools that I wish I had back then that I have at my disposal now. I mean, there's a plethora of them as far as nutritional science, training methods, recovery methods, techniques, and all that stuff. I would have made so much money. The hell, if I had Facebook back then, I would have made way more money.
It's stuff. I mean, the sports science now, and all the specialized training, and they talk about the recovery things and stuff like that now is just crazy because, back
Ice
then,
chamber.
man, it was just the Wild West, and it was raw, and it was great. It was a fun time, man. But
think about that cause and effect. Think about that. Your average fighter shelf life 10 years ago was 5-6 years on an active fighter. And now with current technologies and recovery abilities and training methods and safer and smarter, your average shelf life of fighter now is now doubled to like, say, 10 to 12 years. So it's gone from rough and tough money to now you've got so much longevity that you can actually earn a living.
And not only that, strategically in marketing.
Exactly. You have long-term value now versus I got to get as much money as I can in like a couple years. Now it's just like you can just like 5-6 years easy and make money.
and the money obviously is crazy now
Money's
compared to
so
what it was,
better.
where you had to fight. You had to try to fight every month or every 6 weeks if you could, because you were trying to pay rent or mortgage or whatever.
Hell, I got
Now,
$250 my first
guys
show.
will fight.
Didn't even know it.
What's that?
I got $250 for that Terry Doll fight,
Oh, yeah.
and I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, "What are you gonna do with your money?" And I was like, "What money? I got a trophy." They were like, "Dude, there's like a check for $250."
There
And
you
I was
go.
like, "I don't know. I'm 19.
Buy
What do you
some
do?
Jordans.
What do you do with $250?
Yeah.
I'm
Buy an
19.
Atari back then.
Dude, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's that 250 that went fast at Jasper's after the fight when we go over there for those.
Oh yeah,
parties.
that goes real fast at Jasper's. Man, Jasper's was the place. I remember because they couldn't drink on Palace property. All employees said they couldn't drink, so we'd all go to Jasper's.
and we didn't have a hotel
What about
yet.
Porky's,
you
man?
guys would always stay at the Best Western over there. So,
Yep. It was always fun out
but
there. Man.
yeah, I mean it's crazy. Now it's great to see how far the sport's come since then. But at the same time, I don't know how far it actually really has come. I know the UFC's come a great distance, but I don't really know if the sport as a whole
Given the
it's
grounds
kind
that
of
it could reach right now. It's,
grown in parallel to the three letters UFC.
yeah, now when you think
know.
you think MMA, it's kind of synonymous with UFC, which is what they want. Like when you think driving or racing, you think NASCAR. I mean, that's what they want. The next step is just like so close, but that's what they sold it. And I think when they sold it, they saw a plateau. I think they saw a glass ceiling, so to speak, and they saw the potential reached of what the sport could be. And the next step was what you're going to see now with guys like Brock Lesnar coming in and things like that. So they saw a glass ceiling and said, we've done as much as we can do with this platform.
Right.
You take it to this, that's where all the next money's going to be, but we don't want to do that. That's where we step out. So here, you buy it and take it. So that's what you're going to see.
They did a remarkable job, man. I mean, for what, Dana and the Fertittas and others, the team, it's just remarkable what they did. To build it up. And you're right. I mean, they wanted the UFC promotion to be the sport, and by and large, it really is.
It's
And,
become
It has
that.
become that. It has become that.
yeah, I spent 4 years at Bellator. It was, owned by Viacom pretty much for half the time I was there, and number 2 promotion and solid and amazing talent, great fighters, and continue to to sign fighters. But it's an uphill battle to compete with UFC domestically and internationally to a large extent.
Well, they did it first. That's all. That's why everybody's in such an uphill battle. Is the UFC has such an advanced league because they've been doing it.
Well, now you got somewhere to go if you get sliced or if your contract expires. You do. And they embrace you with open arms. They embrace you with open arms. Look at Hoist Gracie. I asked him, any comeback coming? He said no. Three months later, he said he was going to fight Ken Shamrock. Hey, we're coming right back here on AM 1680, The Fighter's Voice, with the one and only Mr. Christian Printup.
You are listening to The Fighter's Voice on AM 1680.
Right now, we gotta take a break. You know.
Pay some bills. So be ready for some head banging, lip smacking, heart attacking, fight talk. Because every fighter has a voice.
No, I'm awake, man.
We're ready,
I'm
Jose.
awake. I do snore though.
No, I know. That's what I heard. Cole's telling me all the stories, my man.
But I sleep with one of those masks now, man. A CPAP mask.
Don't hit me, Rich. Don't hit me.
Just break me down with some of that fight talk. The Fighter's Voice. Right here. And remember, every fighter has a voice. And so do you. So let's get ready to you know what. Right here on The Fighter's Voice.
And we're back live in Fresno, California. The Fighter's Voice live stream team on fire, making it happen. This is part 4, and it's called The Last Round. And, of course, we got to knock these last round sponsors out, Mr. Cole. Knock them out. Hit them with the low blow.
Man, as always, the sponsors keeping our lights on and the mics beautiful in here. Man, I love it when they do that for us,
awesome.
dude. Serranos' family, they've been doing it since 86, guys. It's not like they just opened up a chain shop last week and said, hey, come buy some furniture for us. They know their families. They know their neighborhoods. They know what you want. They don't just try to sell you stuff. They are like, let us sell you furniture that you and your family want to actually live on, not sit on, live on. So they've been doing it, man, anywhere in the valley. Bakersfield, Delano, Dinuba, Fresno, Hanford, Madera, Visalia, Tulare, Porterville. Man, it goes all the way down to
Did you say Canada, New York?
Canada, almost, man. They'll ship it, I bet. I bet if Christian wants something, they'll ship it.
No, you make them wait.
Make them wait. Wait till we get the candy.
Make them wait till we get the candy. Then we'll ship them something.
So they got 9 locations serving you guys in the valley, and also remember, Main Events Gym in Fresno. They need people to come and sweat in their floor, guys. You need to sweat. They need people to sweat. Come check them out and punch some stuff.
There you go. Christian, I want to ask you real quick, okay, what's your take on this fight coming up? We got Triple G and Carnelo. But before you go there, before I forget, a big shout-out, Mr. Al Perez Sr. and Al Perez Jr. They said, Richard, make sure you give Christian our best. Make sure you take care of your guests.
Man.
Richard, make sure you give him the red carpet. Richard, make sure the levels on his microphone are perfection. And is it safe to say I did so?
Yeah, absolutely, brother. You always knock it out of the park, man. And I got to say, Big Al and Al Jr. And Big Al's been one of he's been one of the biggest influences in my career, in my not even just my career, but in my personal life.
Wow.
I'm super, super lucky to be able to call him a mentor, someone that not only taught me a tremendous amount of what it takes to promote. We worked together for years in Lemoore, and I also want to thank Serrano's Furniture because they were a great sponsor of all of our regional Mexican concerts that we did. That would bring in Los Tigres and Banda Recodo and Los Orientales and stuff like that. I mean, we did, Graciela Beltran, like huge shows. And I've learned just a lot about life from Al, man. He's one of the he's like my Yoda, to be honest with you. So we don't talk as much as we used to because, life, happens, but you get busy and, everyone's doing their thing. But, we touch base every once in a while, and he always has words of wisdom that stick with me. Have never left. So much love to the Perez family.
Yeah. He has a nickname in Fresno, and they call him the Godfather of radio. But that's a whole different segment. Christian, thanks for those kind words.
Radio Canyon.
Yes. Appreciate those kind words. But I want you to break down the Triple G Carnelo fight. On this rematch, who's going to win and why, and what's your take?
Man, I like Triple G in the fight. I think that he's going to come in with extra motivation this time, and I think that when it comes down to it, he's technically more sound. He's going to have to definitely jump out a little earlier than their first fight.
Yeah.
Canelo obviously is Canelo. I mean, he's super tough. I mean, they're two of the best guys to ever do it in their weight division. So it's special. I like Triple G in a close one, and probably see a third.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's the 15th. Now, a day before, boxing lovers, we're spoiled because here in the Valley, Fresno, California, Save Mart Center, we got Fresno Zone, and I want to call him Fresno Zone, but the man's from Avana, Jose, the Avenal Kid Ramirez. ESPN Live, we're talking about 15,000 screaming fans because they get to see him enter the ring. He's taken on another prospect, another contender, and Mr. Orozco, who was on the show last week. What's your take on Jose Ramirez's young career, and where do you see him in about 5 years?
I would love to have been there when Jose was really coming up. I know he fought in an amateur tournament at the Palace when he was a youngster.
Yeah.
He's a tremendous talent. Obviously, he's very civic-minded. You can see that he has his priorities straight. It's refreshing to see young superstars that can stay out of the tabloids and that are giving back to their communities. And it's special. And he's got Rick in his corner, who works super, super hard, and I have a ton of respect for him because he's a hell of a promoter. And it's been really fun to watch the maturation of Jose's career from afar. He's got a tough fight. Orozco's no joke. It's gonna be a great fight. So I mean, everyone in the 559, if you're a boxing fan, if you're not a boxing fan, if you just need a night out, you need to go see that fight because it's gonna be special.
It is. It is. This is a part of the show. I'm gonna throw some names at you, and I want the first thing that comes to mind. Okay. And when you just went over, Rick Meridian,
Hustler, in a good way.
Jeff Bray.
Tall. I'm going to see Jeff. That's my man. That's my big brother. I'm going to see him in 2 weeks. I'm going to be in Chicago. My girlfriend and I are going in. His son Tyler's, a backup quarterback with the Bears. So we're going to meet him out there and then watch the game. And they're playing the Bills. I'm a Bills fan. And shout out to Fireball too for giving us Josh Allen. So that's our new quarterback.
Hey man, I got to ask you this, and I like to get honesty if I can. I mean, what do you think of Richard Ortiz and their Fighter's Voice radio show in the co-host Escobedo?
You're like the master of putting people on the spot.
No, I want to know, man.
I love it.
No, because sometimes they'll say you suck or you need to work on this or do this, and I really want to know.
It's organic.
Yeah, honestly. So, for real. I think that you guys have really good chemistry together. You play off each other well. Rich, your passion for the sport, your passion for bringing information out of people is great. Cole's a lot of fun, man, because he's been there, he's done that, he's fought at the highest level. He's gone in there and with some of the best guys to ever do it. He's been a world champion, and so I think it's a nice balance, man, because you've got the the charm and the charisma and the good looks, and then Cole's got the flying triangle. So
dude, I thought he was talking about you, Cole. I thought he was talking about you, my man. Dude,
I love it.
Dang. You know what? I don't feel too bad about the candy now. Keep talking, Christian. Keep talking, Christian. Keep talking. I'm not even worried about the candy.
I am going to make good on that, though, brother.
Chris is going to spend. He's going to spend more on the shipping cost per weight.
I think he is. I'm just.
They're going to go. What are you shipping, sir? And he's going to go. It's just candy. And they're going to go. It feels like about 4 kilos of candy, sir. It seems like an odd amount to ship.
Well, you know what, Richard? It only took me 2 years to figure this out. But what I'm going to do is, with your address, I'm going to just go on Amazon Prime, man.
There you go.
Boom.
Boom.
Prime status.
I'll make it happen.
Boom.
That's reserved for like girlfriends and boyfriends when you like order stuff on Prime with them. That's like you're using up your Prime points.
While you're on Prime,
wait,
we'll take 2 sets of headphone beats. You know what I mean?
Can I flip the script real fast and ask you guys a question?
Sure, please.
Okay, so because I'm a huge online shopping nut. Like
keep us rolling all the way through, Jose.
Busy life. So, what is if you guys use online, Amazon, whatever? What's the weirdest thing? Not weirdest thing, but like something you bought where people are like, why would you buy that online? For me, it was peanut butter. I ordered one jar of peanut butter.
Wow,
And,
that's a good question.
yeah.
I don't know if I've ever ordered. I think I ordered flavored popcorn online one time. And they were like, you can just go to the mall, bro, and get that. And I was like, yeah, but this was like from like somewhere that like did their own like caramel, like made their own caramel for the popcorn. And my daughter loves caramel popcorn. So I was like, well, we're going to order some of that. And they were like, dude, bro, you know there's a store. Like there's a mall. They have flavored popcorn. I was like, well, yeah. But I don't think I've ever ordered anything really weird.
I ordered something weird, and I ordered a cassette tape because I got an old cassette player.
That's a little
no,
weird.
No, I did. I ordered a cassette tape
Ooh.
because they had it. It was old school Albie Shore and Keith Sweat. I had to get it.
Did you have to show
$3.99.
like
$3.99.
proof of age or something?
No, man, they had it said there was in mint condition and the Keith Sweat was unwrapped. So $3.99. I got Albie Shore and Keith Sweat.
Yeah, totally. Vintage.
Cassette.
Get that sign.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Right.
yeah, that is strange.
I just had Keith Sweat. I just had Keith out here 2 months ago, man, for
I
a
saw
show in
that.
Niagara Falls. It was great.
Dude,
dude.
your
Great show.
office has to be like a what's what of
He had Belle Biv
memorabilia.
DeVoe too. I saw that.
You know what? I actually, my office is. I have one thing hanging on the wall that says it's a square, like a wooden box thing, and it says "Think outside the box."
Wow.
I have no
where do you keep,
memorabilia.
where do you
I
keep
have
all
nothing
your...
hanging. I do have that stuff. Like, it's in boxes and
No,
everywhere.
bro.
Big
No,
containers
you
here.
need to like send one of your Gopher interns, have them bring you like just different stuff and say pick some stuff, and then you get it shadow boxed. You put it on your wall. You get like a little glass case, and you have some pictures of like the really famous fighters and promoters and actors and things you've come across in your career. That way, you just sit back and you just look at it and just be like, man. And you just when you would just take 5 minutes to breathe, or you're having a really rough day, going, man, this is just maybe it's time to get out. Maybe this is just maybe I've done it long enough, and I'm getting tired. You know, I'm just getting there. And you can look over at the shelves and you can look at so much that you've accomplished, knowing that every single one of those moments along your way of going, this might be too hard, or maybe I can't do this, or maybe they were right, and you just said F it and went forward anyway. That can be maybe your motivation when you look over and go, yeah, you know what, dude, I got 5 more years in me. And you just go. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. You know, that's a good point. And it's nice to, I do reflect. You know, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, I do take time to reflect, and I think how blessed and fortunate I've been to be a part of, you know, a lot of fun events and work with cool people over the years. And one day I will do that, man. I'll put things up and, like, you know, the man cave and all
Or
that
study
stuff.
something somewhere so that you can look on it for just there, it's there. 'Cause
Yeah,
you put it in a
and-
box, man, and it gets forgotten about.
And you need to look at it. I got an old school
for sure.
comic book, The Amazing Spider-Man vs. Superman. It was $2. It's huge. I'll open it up and smell the pages, man, because it takes me back. And then you see the old fake ads, glasses you can see through, this box you could jump higher. And every once in a while, I just look at it. I bought it at Save Mart, man, when I was a kid, $2. But in the first 2 pages, I did draw on it. I kind of jacked that up. But it's still in mint condition. And I still got $6 Million Man, too.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah. You can't roll his arm up because I'm afraid it won't roll back down. So I'll leave that alone, you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Christian, I want to thank you for just taking time and sharing all this stuff for me, man. I feel like 1 hour is not enough. But I know I woke you up and I didn't let you sleep, my man.
Yeah, I got. You know, my son's in summer school, so I have to wake him up in about 6.5 hours. He's got an exam in the morning. But he's a good kid. He's going into his senior year, man. I'm really super proud of him.
Flies, doesn't it?
And it does, man. It goes by really fast.
I got both mines are junior age right now.
Are they?
Yeah, just turned 16 this summer, man. It's
Holy
insane.
cow.
Yeah, you were around when they were little when I was playing, dude.
Tell them the truth.
Yeah.
You're working on one as we speak. I mean, come on. You were late getting here. That's real talk right here.
Makes perfect.
You know what, Christian? We can go on and on and on forever, and I got to have you back on the show. We got a new, it's called the Kick-Ass Podcast coming up, and that's going to be debuting in September. But I want to take the time to thank you, and I want, like as always, I dedicate every single breath of fresh air that comes out of my mouth. Every single thing that I do, I dedicate it to my son. Mijo, te quiero mucho, mijo Richie. I love you with all my heart. It's a wrap here with the legend, the myth, the one and only Christian Printup. Thumbs up for Richie. Go ahead and stay on the line, though, Christian. Thumbs up for Richie, and it's a wrap here in the Fighters Voice Radio Show live stream team.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. We'll keep going. Okay, now the radio show's done, right? Okay, give me 2 minutes. Okay, Christian, you on?
Yeah.
Okay, give me 2 minutes. This is just a little bit I add to the podcast. So what's really going on? What's going through your head? What's your next move? And I know you got to go. I know you got to get off the line right now. But now you can feel a little comfort because we're no longer on the radio. This is just more of a laid back. It's part of the Kick-Ass Podcast, Uncensored. So what's really going on with your life, my man? I'm not trying to get personal, but I know you're in a relationship. Any wedding bells coming up?
Yeah, you never know, but no, I mean, I'm really lucky, man. I found
You've been blessed.
A great partner, beautiful woman, beautiful heart, really supportive, and I'm super happy and really lucky. Just work. I work a lot. I have two of my three children live here in New York with me, so I'm just, they're a little older, so I don't have to take care of them hands-on as much as when they were, younger, but, just making sure they're good. And,
they're old enough to go do stuff, man, like go on like cruises and do like out-of-country trips and like enjoy wine on the steps of Paris or something, like fun stuff.
My son and I went to Costa Rica in March.
Oh, see, there you go.
Break, so
hey, your son got flows. I was listening to him. He has some rhythm. He has some flows. Yeah. You can't be mad at him. He has some flows, man.
Yeah, he likes it. He's taking the music. I'm happy because it's a great creative outlet for him, and he's into art. He's tattooing, and
nice.
Obviously the music and stuff is cool. It's great. He's doing live shows. So I went to the first few shows, and then finally he was like, Dad, come on now. You don't have to come to every show. So, I was probably
dude. I wish my kid was
well,
like that.
That's because he's growing up, and he, the best part of his show is the very end. And I mean, he wants to, relax.
I stayed in the back. I stayed in the back. I wasn't like out in the front, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I stayed in the back. I stayed. I don't want to cramp his style, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to be there to see it.
He just needs to know you're there.
I have Three Doors Down and Collective Soul coming up this Saturday, and the next weekend I have Toby Keith and Trace Adkins. So just, do it.
Man, I'm gonna have to stay in touch with you and tell you a couple of performers that my daughter really likes, and when they're out there, man, I might have to hit you up and be like, hey, dude, I'm gonna mail you something. And you're going to get it signed for me.
Yeah.
And you're going to mail it back, dude. And she's going to lose her stuff because she's like, there's certain music artists that she is a fan of and stuff that I'm like, I know one of them is going to perform at like Christian's places. I know it's going to happen. That's just the way it is. So it's going to happen, Migo. I'm gonna keep a track on that.
Yeah, do that, man. Absolutely, brother.
Christian, before I let you go, I know you want to show some love. I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I know you want to show some love for Bellator, man. Tell us, what was that whole experience like in 2 minutes, and I'm going to let you go to sleep.
Oh, it was an amazing experience to work for Bellator. I was hired by Bjorn Rebney and Tim Danaher, like what I call Bellator 1.0, before Viacom took over the controlling interest, and Scott Coker came in, and was fortunate to be able to stay on through that transition when not everyone did. Kind of a little bit of downsizing there. So having a chance to work for Bjorn and then Scott was really cool. I learned a lot. We had a great team. I loved life on the road, but I also hated it. And I was really happy there, and was doing a good job, and everything was going great. But the opportunity to come back to the casino business, and in particular to move back home to Western New York, was too much to pass up on. So I had to say, goodbye to Bellator. But I stay in close contact with them, and everyone that was part of the team, and I'm Bellator Nation, for life. There's no doubt about that. So.
I never had a chance to really thank you, man. I appreciate that class act, man. In the middle of the cage, the big thumbs up for Richie, man, for Bellator. I appreciate that. You tagged me with that, shared that with me, man. And I remember that day I'm watching TV, and when I got the tag, I was like, oh, my gosh. I mean, my heart just melted. And, you know exactly why I live.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. It's my pleasure. And, anything that I can do for you, I'll always be there.
No, I appreciate that. You being on here and being a friend, I mean, that's enough. Enough said. And continue to do what you do, because you don't even know what you're touching lives right now. But every time that you move forward, every time that you talk to somebody, you are making an impact. And like I said, Big Al Perez, Sr. and Jr. have nothing but mad respect for you. We have respect for you here on the Fighter's Voice radio show. Can't wait to get you on the new show we got coming up in September, the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast Uncensored. And we'll make some time, and we'll plug some things, and we're looking to go global, man. That's the whole plan, raising the bar.
Yeah, I mean, it's a digital age, so you can do it. That's great. It sounds great, man. I'm looking forward to that, man. I can't wait to hear it.
Hey, I'm going to let you go, my man. Anything, Cole?
No, just as always, Christian, man. Christian did something for me way back in the day when I was down really bad. He called me one day and said, hey, come on out to the Palace. I want to talk to you about something. He did something for me. He knows what it is, and to this day, he knows that I'm always going to be grateful for that, because it was one of those things where somebody stuck their hand out and said, hey, let me help you up, when nobody else was, and he didn't have to. And that's going to be something that I'll always always be indebted to Christian for. If he ever needed something and called me and said, dude, I need you to come out to New York, I'd go.
Yeah, I love you, man. Love you, man. I have much respect for you always, and really, just make me proud, dude. All you guys.
Thanks, Migo.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad
brother.
you're continuing to do what you do, Migo. Appreciate
We
it.
got you, man. And if ever you do an event, your ring announcer gets a sore throat, I'm going to fly down there, my man. I'm going to fly down there,
you
my
go.
man. Okay, hey, I'll
There you
talk to you
go.
later, man.
All
Class
right,
act.
get some sleep,
Hey, ladies and
brother.
gentlemen,
All right,
with the Christian Printup,
Peace.
the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend. And it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie. Boom. Great show, brother. Thank you. Boom. Oh, class act.
Mm-hmm.